lie. But I want to ask you a few questions, and I want you to think about it. So, if you are driving, and then armed robber accosted you on the road, and all you remember is to shout Jesus, and you start driving, you decide not to stop, and they are shooting your car, shooting your tire, and then you are just shouting Jesus. You are in the car with your wife and your children, and you are like, that's supposed to look like maybe your death sentence, but you are driving Jesus, Jesus. Your children are shouting Jesus, and then you are just driving, and then you decide to move ahead, and you got to a safe space, and you came down. You were already afraid. You looked at the car, no single scratch, no single bullet. You look at your children, they are safe. You look at your wife, they are safe. What will you do? Will you say, no, this is Lamba, I must die. My children should have died by now. Are you saying that God cannot protect you?
Beautiful people. Yeah, I just, when I woke up, after, much that I've been saying yesterday about, you're choosing, all this. I've known that church for more than 10, 15 years. In fact, more than 18 years. And I've known the way, they conduct their things. When people decided to throw it up, yesterday, and it became a trending topic, I'm not surprised anyway, because I've already known. I watched them, while they were on Strong Decoder then. They used to be on Strong Decoder, where you had, several churches on Strong Decoder, my TV and all what have you. So I've known them for a long time. And I'm not surprised, the trend or the way they portray or they give accounts of their testimonies is the same line. Do you understand? And I'm not against them. If it works for them, fine. Let them go ahead. This morning when I saw the response of P. Daniel to the accounts of it, like I put it there, if you go and check the Instagram post that I posted, I put my comments there. And like I said there, I said, the account of what you gave is quite different. Do you understand? By the time people try to give an account of a testimony and try to sweet talk people or try to garnish it with a lot of things, it becomes vague. It becomes very exaggerated. Do you understand? And for me, I will not tell anybody to not believe anything. Do you understand? You can believe whatever. If it works for you, go ahead and believe it. But as far as I'm concerned, like someone, tried to put me under attack, and I said, come, this spirituality is a personal thing. The way I experience God is different from the way you experience God. And as far as I'm concerned, you could take anything away from me in this life. But my walk with God, you cannot take it away from me. And as much as I'm concerned, I'm more convinced from the place of my comfort for anything that I want to do, in as much as I have my peace of mind, God is there. I will give you an account. I'll give you an example. If anyone wants to say, oh, God is this, God is not that, there's no miraculous, I'm not saying that the miraculous does not happen, because I've experienced the miraculous before. I'm a product of the miraculous. Do you understand? Because there's a being that is above every other being, and that is God. Do you understand? So it's not like I don't believe it. I believe God, and I'm a doer, and I'm a fervent believer of God. But that somebody should not come and give an account of what is not. Like some years ago, when I was in school, I developed the habit of listening to messages. And at a point, Pastor Sam used to say something. Pastor somebody, he will say something, he will tell you that you should not make your congregation, or you should not subject your congregation to the point of getting to a point that whenever they come to church or whenever they see a man of God, they suspend their brain. No. Allow them use their brain and allow them think. By the time people come to the terms of, oh, he's the man of God, and you suspend your brain, what do you mean? It shouldn't be so. I'll give you an account. When I was looking for a job, especially after school, I was doing some businesses right after that, one government policy or the other, eventually crumbled one of the businesses, and I said, oh, it was time for me to just, put things together and start looking for a job. I went in search of job. Then I was in Abeokuta. I traveled all the way to Benin City in search of job, and that was Globalcom. One job that I did at Globalcom, I did it for some few months, and went there. Even transporting there, was was a miracle sort of anyway, because I left Abeokuta with about 3,000. I was able to go back and come back to Abeokuta. I went for that job. I came back, and after I came back, and I was supposed to resume in some, few weeks time. I didn't tell anybody, not even my parents, not even anybody. I didn't tell anybody. I was just there. I was just at home with my wife. We were just praying to God. I've done series of interviews with the bank, but one thing led to another. I've not been called, and so many stories anyway. So eventually, I was just at home. I was able to go and start a job. I didn't tell anybody. Even while in the process of going for the interview, I didn't tell anybody. I went to start a job on a Monday like that. So when I got there to start a job on a Monday like that, by the time I resumed, I got there and they told me this was the kind of job I was going to be doing. And it was, it was a 50,000 naira job. That was the first paid job I was going to do anyway, as a formal anyway. So, oh no, that was not the first paid job, but at least, after school, after I finished my NYSC, yes. So it told me I was going to be collecting 50,000 naira, and it was, taking SIM around, to do mobile number portability then and all whatever. I said, no, I can't do this job. So I told the area manager then, he might be listening to this right now, Mr. Femi. I told then, I said, oh, this is bullshit. I can't do this. And I'm sorry, I just left. So when I got home, I was sitting down. Immediately I go home and arrived home, I sat down. A friend of mine, we call him Afo, Pastor Afo. While back in school, we used to pray together. In fact, for every of the businesses I had in school, he was there to pray with us and, all along and everything. So he just called me. I just saw his call. The call came through. When I received the call, I was like, oh, Pastor Afo, how are you doing? Then Afo told me, he said, Jaido. He used to call me by that name. Anyway, that's how he called me, Jaido. So he said, Jaido. He said, God showed me a revelation. We hadn't talked in 3 months, 4 months. We've not talked, we've not discussed about anything. He said, God showed me a revelation. And what was the revelation? He said, before me, he saw a small door open. And not long after that, a bigger door opened. Someone I didn't tell anything. I didn't tell anything before. I didn't know there was nothing. And that was it. Then I opened up to me. I said, see, Pastor Afo, the small door that opened, I just closed it though. I just closed that small door. And he was like, oh, Jaido, you must run back there. And you know something? I ran back there. Told, I drove back, not like I drove back there because I had a car there. I drove back there and I told the area manager that I was sorry that I was going to take up the job. And I started the job. 3 months down the line, that was when Diamond Bank called me. They called me on a Friday and told me that, was I going to be able to resume on a Monday morning to the training school? And that was it. The rest is history. So if anybody says there is no miraculous, I have consistently had my times when God appeared to me, God showed me revelation, and there was points where I had to toe a path that God had held me, and eventually it became the light, it became the way. So I'm not disputing the fact that, but by the time people come together to start, putting, start garnishing and start, putting sweet things in testimonies, it becomes vague and it becomes very exaggerated. Do you understand? That's just my take on this. Thank you. I love you. I'll see you on the next one.